Welcome to another segment of Advanced Training for the Saints, where we're going to take a look at the first couple of letters John wrote to the churches and see what information they have for us today. So let's take a look and see what John saw for us in the last days. We're going to start right out here in Revelation chapter 2. We're going to start here right at verse 1. Write this letter to the angel of the church of Ephesus. This is a message for the one who holds the 7 stars in his right hand and the one who walks among the 7 gold lampstands. Now, I already wrote a couple of books on Revelation. The last one is Parallels in Revelation, where it explains how Revelation teaches how to understand and put the stories together of Revelation on its own. Basically, chapter 1 contains this really detailed description about Jesus, and that description is broken up into sections. Each letter to the church contains a segment of that description of Jesus. You take all of those descriptions of Jesus out of the letters, you put it together, and you get a full description of Jesus. The same thing goes with they got a view of heaven in there, and also what the churches did right, what they did wrong. And if after we wind up going through this, we're going to see how it gives a really good description of exactly what we're going through today. So let's take these segments, put them together, and see what we find. I know all the things you do and have seen your hard work and your patient endurance. We know God is watching us constantly, but what does he see? I know you don't tolerate evil people. You have examined the claims of those who say they are apostles but are not. You have discovered they are liars. What are we hearing today? We're hearing that basically Democrats are coming out and saying, to protect our democracy, we have to eliminate elections. I mean, come on, Democrats. There were other Democrats that wanted to run in the primary, and they would not allow a choice. The Democrats. No, you get Biden, and that's it. You live by our choice. And what are they doing? They're trying to do the same thing with the Republican Party. They're trying to take Trump to court. They're trying to say, basically, look at what happened in Colorado. Supreme Court, no trial, no witnesses, no nothing. We're just going to make a decision based on what we saw on the news. Yeah, well, okay. And we're seeing this, I know you don't tolerate evil people. You have examined the claims of those who say they are apostles but are not. Apostle is basically a teacher. These people are trying to be our teachers. They're trying to be our leaders. And we can see right through them. You have patiently suffered for me without quitting. And this is exactly what we've been doing. We've been patiently waiting for God's orders, and we're not giving up. We're not quitting. But I have this complaint against you. You don't love me or each other as you did at first. And realistically, I'm here with the family, and we're talking about, Christmas just isn't the same as it used to be. Nothing is the same as it used to be. People don't trust one another. There's constant crime. There's just, and it's hard to actually let your guard down anywhere in this world for 1 minute. Look how far you have fallen. Turn back to me and do the works you did at first. If you don't repent, I will come and remove your lampstand from its place among the churches. But this is in your favor. You hate the evil deeds of the Nicolaitans, just as I do. Well, what's a Nicolaitan? I don't know, I see that, I keep on thinking about Nickelodeon. You remember how that used to be good for kids and suddenly turned to woke? So you hate the evil deeds of the in the Galatians. What is in the Galatians? Well, just bear with it. Revelation explains what it is. And you're not going to believe how God saw all of this coming. Anyone with ears must listen to the Spirit and understand what He is saying to the churches. To everyone who is victorious, I will give fruit from the tree of life, the paradise of God. And then this is another thing that we can take a look at. You can divide all of these. Each letter contains a vision of heaven. You put them all together and you get a better look at heaven. But we're going to just concentrate on what, how God viewed the world in the last days, because we're seeing it unfold right in front of us. Write this letter to the angel of the church of Smyrna. This is a message from the one who is the first and the last, who was dead and now alive. Like I said, here's another brief description of Jesus, and you take it all together and you put it together and you got the full description. I know about your suffering and your poverty, but you are rich. I know the blasphemy of those opposing you. They say they are Jews, but they are not, because their synagogue belongs to Satan. And we know this. We know this for sure. And we know God sees our suffering and our poverty, but you are rich. We know we're living in the best land that this world has ever had to offer. We got cars, cell phones, really nice homes, all of this stuff, but it's, the left is trying to take away. The synagogue of Satan is trying to take all this stuff away. They got a plan and they've got it launched. Don't be afraid of what you are about to suffer. The devil will throw some of you into prison to test you. And what has happened? Look at the J6 prisoners. They're still in prison 3 years, and they're, an example of what we can do to you. You will suffer for 10 days, but if you remain faithful, even when facing death, I will give you the crown of life. Here's our description of heaven again, the crown of life. Anyone with ears must listen to the Spirit and understand what He is saying to the churches. Whoever is victorious will not be harmed by the second death. That's our promise. We know these promises, but we got to study and figure out, and realistically, we all know it. We know the Bible, we know Revelation, but we got to explain this to the people that don't know the Bible. Write this letter to the angel of the churches of Pergamum. This is a message from the one with the sharp two-edged sword. I know that you live in the city where Satan has his throne. Is that Washington, D.C.? No. I mean, you could pick either one. Just concentrate on the word city here. All these blue cities, that basically Satan's throne. Yet you have remained loyal to me. You refused to deny me, even when Antipas, my faithful witness, was martyred among you there in Satan's city. I mean, we have good Christian people being martyred or murdered in every blue city. They're going after them. They're going after the mothers that are sticking up for their children. If you don't agree with one single little detail the left is trying to push on us, you become a martyr. But I have a few complaints against you. You tolerate some among you whose teaching is like that of Balaam. Now, what's Balaam? And John did a real good job describing exactly the detail of Balaam we got to pay attention to today, who showed Balak how to trip up the people of Israel. He taught them to sin by eating food offered to idols. And what are they trying to do to us? They're trying to get us into eating these bugs and eating fake meat and all this other stuff. I mean, these foods have been basically blessed by Satan and by committing sexual sin. This is exactly what Balak did. He took the women and had them go into the camp of Israel. And you remember the story. And we're seeing things 10 times worse these days. You know, they got groomers on TikTok and on Facebook and everything, trying to get all the young people, even people that are 6 years old, children are 6 years old, into sex. They're actually trafficking them. They're, you know, the open border, everything. It's all surrounded with sex. In a similar way, you have some Nicolaitans among you who follow the same teaching. This is exactly what I said. It's going to define what it is these Nicolaitans. Committing sexual sin. Okay, just defined by revelation. Repent of your sin, and I will come to you suddenly and fight against them with the sword of my mouth. Anyone who has ears must listen to the Spirit and understand what he is saying to the churches. To everyone who is victorious, I will give some of the manna that has been hidden away in heaven, and I will give to each one a white stone, and on that stone will be engraved a new name that no one understands except the one who receives it. You got to look at these promises of heaven, because these promises of heaven actually are a key of what we're supposed to be teaching this woke generation when they start waking up. And they're starting to wake up, because they've been the influencers on TikTok that have, I mean, they've been paid six figures to go ahead and influence the younger generation, and they've been telling them how to be promiscuous. You know, they're telling them, you know, change your sex, change your head. They've been, you know, telling them that, hey, sex, just have open sex is okay. You know, that's the way you're supposed to be. I mean, these are people that, you know, the Chinese government or Soros or whoever put up to it are supposed to be, you know, teenage or young idols for young people. Well, guess what? All of a sudden, you start watching the videos now, they're taking the makeup off, they're taking the mask off, they're coming up and doing videos like normal people, and they're telling these people, you know, I was lied to. You know, nobody ever told me that there were these sexually transmitted diseases out there, and I was going out there doing what I was teaching you to do, and guess what? My life is ruined. And we got to reach these people. You know, we got to go back. We got to love them. And what are they doing? This is one of the things they're looking for. They're looking for an identity. And what is Jesus promising them? Jesus is promising them a new identity, and he's using a stone as a symbol, something simple, something even they can understand. With a new name. It's a new name, not a new gender. Right? A new name, you know, not a pronoun. Okay. Write this letter to the angel of the church of Thyatira. This is a message from the Son of God, whose eyes are like flames of fire, whose feet are like polished bronze. You know, these people, they might be, you might show this to them for the first time, and they're going to understand the symbolism. Yes, Jesus has eyes that are going to look right through them. Not only through them to see all of their sins, but he's going to cover their shame. You know, I know all these things you do. I have seen your love, your faith, and your service, and your patient endurance. And I can see your constant improvement in all of these things. This is part of the message we got to get out. You know, these people, they talk about love, they talk about all this other stuff. They got the wrong idea, the wrong definition. We just got to straighten it out with them. And we got to get them into that constant improvement and all of these things. They need patience. We know that the woke just flies off the handle instantly. That's what they've been taught to do. And we got to teach them, you know, they got to deal with that patience that God give them. But I have this complaint against you. You are permitting that woman, that Jezebel, who calls herself a prophet, to lead my servants astray. She teaches them to commit sexual sin and to eat food offered to idols. Okay, simple. I gave her time to repent, but she does not want to turn away from her immorality. So, it's an individual choice. The leaders of that generation, they want to stick to what they're doing. Let them. The ones that want to turn away, well, we're here for them. And so was Jesus, like he just explained. Therefore, I will throw her on the bed of suffering, and those who commit adultery with her will suffer greatly, unless they repent and turn away from their evil deeds. We're already seeing this happen. These sexual sins are not being covered in the news, but some of these influencers are coming up with their own private videos. They're posting live on the internet, and they're getting millions of hits. And their kids are finally getting a message that, yeah, you want to play around like that, there's a price to pay. And that's only the beginning of the price, and we got to go out there and explain to them what that price is actually going to be. It's going to be the lake of fire. I will strike her children dead. Then all the churches will know that I am the one who searches out the thoughts and intents of every person, and I will give to each of you whatever you deserve. This is what the left fears the most. This is what the left is trying to hide. It's obvious, but I also have a message for the rest of you in Thyatira who have not followed this false teaching. Deeper truths, as they call them. Deaths of Satan, actually. You notice how John just perfectly described and summed up the left, these deeper thoughts, this new generation, and all this other stuff. I will ask nothing more of you, except that you hold tight to what you have until I come. We're not expected to know everything, but what we got, let's hang on to it. To all who are victorious, who obey me to the very end, to them I will give authority over all the nations. They will rule the nations with an iron rod, smash them like clay pots. They will have the same authority I received from my Father, and I will also give them the morning star. Anyone with ears to hear must listen to the Spirit and understand what he is saying to the churches. So I'm just going to go through chapter 2 right now, but you can go through the other churches. But look at how John described this woke generation to the letter. Isn't that amazing? Anyway, don't forget to share, don't forget to like. Let's get this message out and go through the scriptures again and put this information that we're supposed to be sharing with the world up in your brain, the little computer God gave you, which is a hell of a lot smarter than your cell phone. And let's get ready to go out and battle the devil.